How's it going, everybody? Lampini here again, and today we are going to be reviewing Week 10 of the 2025 NFL season. We're officially past the halfway point of the NFL season, and this is really around the time of the season where we start to see who the actual contenders are, and certain teams start to give up on the season and look towards next year. That'd be my team. So without further ado, let's get into how my predictions went for Week 9 and how I'm doing for the season. So for Week 9, I did pretty well. I was 9-5 with my predictions. Couple upsets here. The Vikings beat the Lions. Panthers beat the Packers. Steelers upset the Colts. Bills beat the Chiefs, and the Cardinals beat the Cowboys. I should have known better that the Bills were going to beat the Chiefs. They seem to have this dynamic where the Bills beat the Chiefs in the regular season, and then the Chiefs beat the Bills in the postseason. So I could have seen that coming. The Vikings had a good upset, and so did the Panthers, and the Steelers had a very good win over the Colts. So that's kind of how that went. For the season, I'm 85, 49, and 1. The predictions keep getting better and better. I have almost guessed twice as many games right that I've guessed wrong. So I say it every week. If you have some money lines, watch my video and find out if your predictions are correct. So without further ado, let's get things kicked off with Thursday Night Football. We're blasting through it today, folks. First up, we have the Las Vegas Raiders at the Denver Broncos. The Raiders have once again lost. They are 2-6. They're one of the bottom 5 teams in the NFL right now. They lost to the Jaguars 30-29. If I recall, they went into overtime and the Raiders scored 6 points, but they weren't able to make the victory there. Jaguars ended up winning. As for the Broncos, they had another last-second victory against the Houston Texans. The Texans did not score a single touchdown in that entire game. But we'll get back to that when we go through the games here. But the Broncos did well. They were down 7-15 going into the fourth quarter, but they scored 11 points in that fourth quarter, and they managed to win. So the Broncos are now 7-2. They're comfortably in the AFC West first place division. With how things have been going, it's going to be very, very tough for them because they have the Chargers and the Chiefs nipping at their heels. But the Chiefs lost an important game to the Bills. I think the Chargers won, though. But it's very interesting. We will wait and see what happens there. I'm going to go with the Broncos on this one. It's a divisional round matchup, so you never know if there's going to be an upset or anything like that. But the Broncos, I think, are too good. Sean Payton has done a great job with this team. Bo Nix is playing well. And they have shown that they play all 4 quarters, and that's very dangerous for some of these teams. I'm going with the Broncos. I don't think the Raiders are going to provide that much of a resistance against them. Next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons at the Indianapolis Colts. This is a Berlin game, 9:30 a.m. on Sunday. The Falcons are 3-5. The Colts suffered a loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers 27-20. The Colts had 5 turnovers in that game, and you're not going to win any games with 5 turnovers. So the Steelers did very well there. This was a rare game where the Falcons lost, but it wasn't because they completely shit the bed. They actually played decently. They ended up losing to the Patriots 24-23. Michael Penix was 22 of 37 for 221 yards and 3 touchdowns, a 103.5 passer rating. So one of his better games. I tell you who had one of his best games of the season was Drake London. 9 receptions for 118 yards and 3 touchdowns. So that was one of the best games of his entire career. They played well, but they're really starting to slide here. Even though they've had some pretty impressive showings so far this season, their record is 3-5, and it's going to be very hard for them to dig themselves out of that hole. As for the Colts, it'll be interesting to see how the Colts fare after this tough loss against the Steelers. So Daniel Jones was 31 of 50 for 342 yards, a touchdown, three interceptions, and 63.9 passer rating. He rushed for a touchdown as well. And then Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman both had 115 receiving yards, which was kind of interesting. But this is going to be big to see how the Colts handle adversity because they were on a big winning streak. They were beating every team that they went up against. This was their first game where they actually didn't play very good and Daniel Jones kind of laid an egg. It'll be interesting to see how they tackle or handle this kind of adversity just because everything has been going their way this season as for now. They're still the number 1 seed, which kind of shows how good they've been playing, that they can take a loss and still be the number 1 seed in the AFC. It's at home, but it's a Berlin game, so you never really know what can happen. But I am going to go with the Colts on this one. I think that they're going to win. The Falcons are just too inconsistent of a team, and the Colts are going to want to bounce back after that disappointing loss to the Steelers. So I'm going with the Colts on this one. I think they're going to win. Next up, we have the New York Giants at the Chicago Bears. Giants lost to the 49ers, and the Bears beat the Bengals 47-42. The Bengals are on a bye this week, but if I could just go on a little rant about the Bengals, how the heck do you score 38 points and 42 points in back-to-back games and still lose? I mean, I talk about how bad the Commanders are, but the Bengals are even worse. It's the same motif we saw last year with them, where they score a bunch of points and they still somehow lose. So the Bears scored 47 points, and they won on a last-second play to, I want to say it was their tight end. I don't remember who that was. It was, I don't remember who it was. I think it was Colston. Was it Colston Loveland? I can't remember. But it was a last-second play where two Bengals receivers just missed him. He ricocheted off and just ran in for a touchdown and managed to win. Absolute insanity. Caleb Williams was 20 of 34 for 280 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a 114.4 passer rating. So he did fairly well. And then Kyle Manungai, 26 carries, 176 yards rushing, 6.8 yards per carry. And like I had said, Colston Loveland, 6 receptions, 118 yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. So the Bears offense was firing on all cylinders, obviously. They scored 47 points, and they managed to beat the Bengals. So, but I still am not convinced that the Bears are going to do anything in the postseason. They are benefiting, I think, from a very easy schedule, kind of like what happened with the Commanders last year. And I think that the Ravens beating them with a backup quarterback kind of shows me where the Bears actually are. The Bears are going to win this game, though, because they're going against the Giants. Jackson Dart continues to play well. He was 24 of 33 for 191 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, a 107 passer rating. He also rushed for a touchdown as well. And this all didn't come in garbage time, as they did score 14 points in the fourth quarter, but they were actually, it was, if I can do the quick math here, it was 20 to 10 going into the fourth quarter. So they were only down by 10 points. But I mean, the Giants are like the Commanders. They're not going to go anywhere this year. It's a rebuilding year. And I'm going to go with the Bears. They're going to improve to 6-3. And I think the Bears have a very strong chance of making the playoffs this year. They're going to benefit, like I said, from an easy schedule, but don't be surprised if they're one and done in the playoffs. I'm going with the Bears. Next up, we have the Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins. The Bills had a very solid statement win against the Chiefs. They beat them 28-21. Josh Allen was 23 of 26 for 271 yards and a touchdown, a 123.2 passer rating. He also rushed for 2 touchdowns as well, which was very impressive. James Cook, 27 carries for 114 yards. He's continuing his phenomenal season. Not much to really say about this one. The Dolphins were embarrassed on Thursday night against the Ravens, embarrassed more than the Commanders were embarrassed, really. Their GM got fired. They don't have anything else really going for them. And it sounds like they're going to keep Mike McDaniel. And what's interesting about that is Mike McDaniel, I think, if he gets fired as a head coach, I think he's going to be in the market immensely for being an offensive coordinator. So I wouldn't be surprised if they keep him, actually. Tua is another story. I think they might want to try and replace Tua just because, when his limitations are being shown, he's not a good quarterback. When the system isn't benefiting him, because he's a system quarterback, he runs Mike McDaniel's system, and when he's not able to do that, he just does not look good at all. So for that reason, I'm going with the Bills. They're going to win, and they are nipping at the Patriots' heels. The Patriots need to really stay strong, because if they end up losing, the Bills will jump right in and claim that division. So I'm going with the Bills. Now, this game is going to be a lot more interesting. We have the Baltimore Ravens at the Minnesota Vikings. The Ravens are 3-5. The Vikings are 4-4. These are two teams that had statement victories last week. The Ravens are officially back. Lamar Jackson with his first game back. They beat the Dolphins 28-6. Lamar Jackson was 18 of 23 for 204 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a 143.2 passer rating. Lamar continues to be a phenomenal passer. Again, just like last year where he threw 41 touchdowns and 4 picks, he continues to impress. Derrick Henry, 19 carries for 119 yards as well. Derrick Henry's back as well. The Ravens are looking like their old selves now. They have to dig themselves out of the hole that they have dug themselves into early on in the season. But games like this show me that they are back, and they're the same dominant team that they have been the last couple of years in the regular season. As for the Vikings, J.J. McCarthy probably had his best game so far for a guy who's been injured so much, and he's had bad games. He's had a good half of football in week 1, I think. This was his first actual solid clutch game. Despite being sacked 5 times, he was 14 of 25 for 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, 82.6 passer rating. While those stats may not sound very impressive, he was very clutch. He got got a third down conversion that basically won them the game against the Lions in the fourth quarter, which was a very clutch showing there. Put the team on his back. He managed to make it work. It was a statement win for the Vikings, who are still struggling to kind of find their identity with their franchise quarterback. For that reason, I'm going with the Ravens. I think the Ravens are a lot more of an established team. Now that they've gotten a lot of their injured players back, they've got the ball rolling. Lamar Jackson's back. He's shown that he hasn't missed a beat. Derrick Henry is able to run like he has before. I'm going with the Ravens. I think they're going to win. They're going to improve to 4-5. And they continue to dig themselves out of that hole. 2 more wins. They're past their bye, so 2 more wins brings them above 500. And it's just going to be a matter of if there is going to be room for them in the wild card picture. So I'm going with the Ravens. Next up, we have the Cleveland Browns at the New York Jets. I mean, not much to really say about this game. These are 2 bottom 5 teams. The Jets are coming off of a bye where they managed to beat the Bengals. Again, 39-38. Another game that the Bengals blew. You know, it is incredible stuff there. I mean, but my big thing with the Browns is why haven't they put in Shedeur Sanders yet? It's clear that Dylan Gabriel is not the guy. He was 21-35, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a 65.9 passer rating. Like, they have nothing to lose by putting in Shedeur Sanders and just seeing what they have. Because Dylan Gabriel is not the guy. He's not, like, he doesn't have the physical tools. I understand he's playing for the Browns. Just put in Shedeur. What do you have to lose? This is going to be interesting, though, because both teams are terrible, right? So, who is less bad? I'm going to go with the Jets actually coming back from the bye, although the Browns are coming back from the bye as well. It's at home. The Browns have a good defense, though. But the Jets have a good offense. I'm going to go with the Jets. It doesn't really matter anyway, but I'm going with the Jets. I think they're going to win. Next up, we have the New England Patriots at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a very interesting game, too. This is a classic measuring stick game where these two, if they weren't in different conferences, they would see each other in the playoffs. It's the Tom Brady Bowl, right? The Buccaneers are coming off a 23-3 victory against New Orleans Saints. They beat a bad team, not much to say. This is going to be an interesting game to see who's better. It was another great win for the Patriots. They continue their winning streak. This is a bit of a closer one, though. The Bucs are a lot more of an established playoff team. They've made the playoffs every year since 2020, which I think is very impressive. It's the longest playoff streak in franchise history. But the Patriots are really trying to establish themselves as that they're back. You know, they're back from the Tom Brady Belichick days. They had 3-4 years of rebuilding, and they rebuilt it, and now they're back to being a strong team. It's going to be a very tough one. I do think Tampa has a lot of injuries. I'm going to go with the Buccaneers. The Patriots have been on a big winning streak, but I think Baker has the ability to put the team on his back, and I think it's going to be a very good game, very close game. But I think that the Buccaneers are going to win. And this is probably the game I'm going to watch in the 1 p.m. time slot. So I'm going with Tampa. Next up, we have the New Orleans Saints at the Carolina Panthers. This was a big surprise. The Panthers managed to beat the Packers 16-13, which was a good showing there. Rico Dowdle, again, 25 carries, 130 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. This guy's been incredible. He's Chuba Hubbard was their starting running back, right? And he had that job just snatched from him, which was very, very impressive. I mean, very, very good showing there. I'm a big fan of what the Panthers are doing. Bryce Young still has not been the most impressive. He was 11 of 20 for 102 yards, an interception, and a 48.3 passer rating. So even though the Panthers are 5-4, it's not because of Bryce Young. He's still a below average starting quarterback. And I think it's going to be a similar situation to what's going on with the Jaguars right now, where while the Jaguars are 5-3, Trevor Lawrence is still having a below average season. And if he continues to play below average starting quarterback football, he's going to hold his team back. And I kind of see the same thing going on with Bryce Young. That being said, the Saints are 1-6. They're probably the worst team in the league. There's a lot of teams that are really bad, though. I don't think the Saints are going to really pull off the upset, so I'm going to go with the Panthers. They're going to improve to 6-4. When we get into the playoff picture, we'll see how close they are into causing some upsets. But for now, they're going to win this game. Another 1 p.m. game here, folks. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Houston Texans. So like I said previously, the Jaguars are 5-3. The Texans are 3-5. They lost out to the Denver Broncos 18-15. They did nothing but kick field goals, which was, kind of disappointing there. And CJ Stroud left the game early with a concussion. He got hit by someone, head hit the back of the turf. He was out for most of the game. Davis Mills got the start in relief. He didn't do too hot. 17 of 30 for 137 yards, a 68.3 passer rating. And like I said, they didn't kick it. They didn't score any touchdowns. They kicked 5 field goals. If you had Kiami Fairbairn as your fantasy kicker, I'm sure you were pretty happy about that. But not much else to say other than that. The Texans, it's a lost season for them. They're kind of a less bad version of the Commanders, where they had expectations and they're just not putting it together. So for that reason, I'm going to go with the Jaguars. I think they're going to win. And like the Panthers, they're going to be 6-3, and they're in the playoff picture. It's just going to be a matter of if they can get there in the end. If they end up being like the 6th or 7th seed, they may keep the Ravens out of the playoff picture, but I just don't think they're going to keep this momentum going for the whole season. So I'm going with Jacksonville. Now we enter the 4 o'clock slate. We have the Arizona Cardinals at the Seattle Seahawks. Starting with the Cardinals, they upset the Dallas Cowboys 27-17. Jacoby Brissett had a great game, 21-31, 261 yards, 2 touchdowns, 115.1 passer rating. Very good. Marvin Harrison Jr., 7 receptions, 96 yards and a touchdown. It was a good game by the Cardinals, but I mean, y'all saw what happened on Sunday night. The Seahawks absolutely destroyed the Commanders. There was a time where Sam Darnold was 16 for 16 for 4 touchdowns. He ended the game 21 of 24 for 330 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception, a 141 passer rating. I mean, that game was a national tragedy if you're a Commanders fan. That, like, it doesn't get any worse than that. It was rock bottom, and I'll tell you more about it when I talk about them going against the Lions, which probably isn't going to be much better. The Seahawks are going to win this game. They are 5-2, and they look really, really strong, guys. Like I said that I thought we could beat them. They're just a well-rounded, strong, solid team, and at home, they're going to beat the Cardinals, no problem. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Rams at the San Francisco 49ers. Despite Brock Purdy still being out, Mac Jones has played very well in relief, and I think he may get a starting job somewhere next year. Who knows? But the 49ers are still playing very, very well in relief with Brock Purdy not there. They beat the Giants 34-24, and of course, they did it on the back of Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey had 106 rushing yards and 67 receiving yards, which, if I can do the quick math here, that gives him 173 total yards from scrimmage, 2 total touchdowns. So a great showing by Christian McCaffrey. Again, he's having another great year. Mac Jones was 19 of 24, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns, 135.2 passer rating. What I've seen from this is that in the system, in Kyle Shanahan's system, you can see that Mac Jones is not that much worse than Brock Purdy. So, I mean, Mac Jones could be the starter for this team, clearly, as you can see. I mean, they're 6-3 for God's sake. As for the Rams, they crushed the Saints 34-10. They were coming off of a bye. That was the London game, I believe. Matt Stafford, no, actually it wasn't. I don't know what I'm talking about. Matt Stafford, once again, with an MVP caliber performance, 24 of 32, 281 yards, 4 touchdowns, a 140.8 passer rating. Honestly, at this point, I think Matt Stafford should be the MVP frontrunner. He has 21 passing touchdowns so far, halfway through the season, which means he's on pace for 40-plus touchdowns, and he only has 2 interceptions thrown. If he ends up with 42 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, that's got to be enough for an MVP. You rob Lamar Jackson of that honor of winning MVP with stats like that. Can't do it to Matt Stafford. I mean, he's 37 years old, and he's playing some of his best football. And this is what was kind of weird about Matt Stafford, is that he's a very inconsistent quarterback, but when he's on, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. This would be the 3rd season he's thrown for 40 or more touchdown passes. And the only guy that I think that's done that are guys like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. I think, to my knowledge, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are the only 2 quarterbacks that have thrown for more than 40 touchdowns in 3 separate seasons. I know Peyton Manning's done it twice. I know Mahomes has done it twice. But, MVP caliber stuff, Hall of Fame caliber stuff by Matt Stafford. For that reason, I'm going to go with the Rams. It's a divisional round matchup at home. But I just think the Rams are a top 5 team in this league right now. And I think that, I say it every year, but they could really, make a Super Bowl run this year. Everything's coming together for them. I'm going with the Rams. Yes, of course. And now it is time to go over the Detroit Lions against the Washington Commanders. We'll talk about the Lions first. They lost to the Minnesota Vikings, and they looked good in defeat. They were down by a good amount, but then they scored really quickly off a great Jameson Williams catch that brought it within one score, and then the Vikings managed to get that last first down, and the Lions just ran out of time. So, that's basically what happened there. And then, as we talk about the Washington Commanders, that game was pretty much over from the first snap. Our defense could not do a single thing. The Seattle Seahawks just waltzed down the field every single drive. I remember there was one drive where they had a personal foul, they had like a holding call, they kept getting pushed back, and then they still kept getting first downs. Like, this is a lost season. The Commanders season is officially over, especially with the Jaden Daniels injury, which thankfully they said isn't as bad as it looked. They said that he may come back this season. I'd say just he doesn't need to come back. We're gonna be like 5-12, 5-12 or something like that. And I'm fine with that. Get some draft capital, get some cap space, rebuild the team a little bit. We have our franchise quarterback, so we always have a chance to win. I think that Dan Quinn is a good head coach. I just think we've been ravaged by injuries, guys. I mean, I looked at the stats. Jane Daniels did not have his wide receiver 1, 2, and 3, Noah Brown, Deebo Samuel, and Terry McLaurin. He didn't have all three of them once the whole season. We didn't have them once the whole season. And Terry McLaurin's been out most of the season. When Terry McLaurin was back, Jane Daniels was out. There was a time where Jane Daniels didn't have Terry McLaurin or Deebo Samuel. I mean, it's just been a lost season for us. We've been injured all year. We've seen this happen with teams before where they've just been injured to hell, and it's just a lost season. And I think that's what's happened with us. We'll at least be able to, get some good draft picks, some good draft capital. And there were some bright spots in the game, I say with a straight face. Mike Seymour still had a great interception. I think that he is one of our good young talents. Mike Seymour still, very good cornerback. Trey Amos is another very good corner as well. So we have bright spots on the team, but we're too old. We need to, Bobby Wagner's old. Frankie Louvu has done nothing all season. We need to make some serious personnel changes. This wasn't our year, and that's okay. I'm just glad that the Jane Daniels injury, we obviously, he shouldn't have been in there with 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, down by that much, and it hurts to have a gruesome injury like that. But again, I'm the eternal optimist. It wasn't an ACL, it wasn't a knee, it wasn't an Achilles, it wasn't an ankle injury, anything that's going to inhibit his movement, and it wasn't his throwing shoulder. So, I mean, if he was going to get injured, at least it was his non-dominant arm. I'm ridiculous, but he'll have time to heal, and it's a lost season. And like I said, that's okay. It doesn't really matter. So the Lions are going to win this game. It's not going to be close. The Commanders are going to fall to 3-7. I knew this was going to happen. Our season is lost. We look forward to next season, but thankfully I'm a football fan and I can just kind of follow the storylines of the NFL without my team doing good. I'm used to it at this point. At least we made the conference championship last year, and we can say that our playoff drought isn't super long, and all the playoff streaks and failure streaks, we beat that last year. So now we can say, oh, we did all this in 2024. So whatever. I'm going with the Lions. And now we come to the Sunday night game. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the San Diego Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers. Sorry. This is going to be a great measuring stick game. The Steelers had a great victory over the Colts. The Chargers had a mid-victory against the Titans. Both teams won 27-20, but I think it's a bit worse when you're the Chargers and you win 27-20 against the Titans. This is going to be a very interesting game. It was a win that the Chargers desperately needed, or that the Steelers desperately needed. The Steelers desperately need this win to stay in front of the Ravens. The Chargers need this win to stay in the wild card picture. It's at home, though. It's in Los Angeles, and for that reason, I'm going to go with the Chargers. It's going to be a great game to watch. I can't wait for this game. It's going to be a real measuring stick game because these two could meet in the playoffs. If the Steelers win their division, they could meet in the playoffs very, very easily. So for that reason, I'm going with the Chargers. I think they're going to win. And last but not least, we have the Philadelphia Eagles at the Green Bay Packers. This game is for first place in the NFC. So this is going to be a great game to watch. Jalen Hurts coming off of a bye. They scored 38 points. It's probably the best offensive showing that the Eagles have had all season. Jalen Hurts was 15 of 20 for 179 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 141.5 passer rating. Saquon Barkley, 14 carries for 150 yards and a touchdown. And then Tank Bigsby, 9 carries for 104 yards. So they had 2 100-yard rushers and a 4-touchdown passing Jalen Hurts. How about that, huh? As for the Packers, they were beat pretty badly by the Carolina Panthers. 2 home losses to the Browns and the Panthers, which is very disappointing. Jordan Love had a bad game, 26 of 37, 273 yards and an interception, 80.1 passer rating. They need to have a good get-right game here. Lambeau, Monday night. I want the Packers to win, but coming off the bye, I do think the Eagles are going to win just because they're coming off the bye, and Packers have been losing recently a lot at Lambeau. And I think that a team as good as the Eagles is really gonna, assert their dominance, and I think that they're gonna win this game. It's gonna be a great game, though. I mean, great primetime games, really, NFC and AFC. So with that being said, those are my predictions for Week 10. I kind of flew through them a little bit, but now we come to the playoff picture. So we're gonna start off with the NFC this time. As you can see with the NFC, the Eagles get the first round bye. They're the number 1 seed at 6-2. However, Tampa Bay and Seattle are both 6-2 respectively. So a win from one of those teams and a loss from Seattle from the Eagles could turn it around in their favor, and then they go down. Surprisingly, the Lions are the number 7 seed at 5-3. The 49ers are 6-3 and the Rams are 6-2. I really don't predict a lot of movement in the NFC right now, because when you look at who is in the hunt right now, you have the 5-3 Bears and the 5-4 Panthers. They could get in 1 week and then get bounced, but when you look at the 7 teams in the playoffs right now, Eagles, Bucks, Seahawks, Packers, Rams, 49ers, and Lions, I feel like there's a very steep gap between those 7 teams and the Bears and Panthers. So I don't really see a lot of movement happening in the NFC, maybe with just seeding. If the Packers lose and the Lions win, I think the Lions will go into the number 4 seed. So, not much I think is really going to change in terms of those 7 teams, maybe so the seeding, especially because there's 3 teams in the NFC West with the 49ers, Rams, and Seahawks respectively. So, a lot could change with that in terms of seeding, but you never know. So, moving on to the AFC. Again, the Colts are in the number 1 seed at 7-2, but similarly to the NFC, the Patriots and Broncos are both 7-2 respectively, and then the Steelers are the number 4 seed at 5-3. And then you have the Bills at 6-2, the Chargers at 6-3, and the Jaguars at 5-3. So unlike the NFC, I can see a lot of movement happening. So if you look down, the Chiefs are 5-4, and the Texans and Ravens are 3-5. So while there's not as many contenders really to move in, I think the Chiefs and the Ravens have very strong chance of bouncing into the playoff picture. Now, the Steelers are in a bit of trouble. They could just be taken outright out of the playoffs if the Ravens continue to win. And I think the Jaguars are the weak seed in the AFC. I could very easily see them be bounced for the Chiefs, or maybe the Steelers fall into the number 7 seed spot. Unlike the NFC, where it's kind of the same 7 teams rotating around, I can't see the AFC going into the playoffs here without the Chiefs, Ravens, or both getting in. Well, that concludes my predictions, guys. We're at the midway point of the season. I will catch you guys next week for Week 11. Take it easy, guys.